So I think.
I do love that intro. Hey fam, welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, Chappell, and we are back again for the Flavor of Love Kickback on a special night. We're doing this on a Tuesday night this week because we got some scheduling issues and because we couldn't wait to talk about this episode. And with me, my special guest, Beyonce. Beyonce, is that you?
Okay,
Beyonce?
Beyonce personally, but the people that I've been compared to, one is New York Tiffany Pollard. Two, the most that I get compared to is actually Whoopi Goldberg. Okay. I've gotten Whoopi Goldberg for like 40 years of my life, crazy. And then but music wise, I used to get Brandy, that people like insofar as would come up to me when I was like 18 or so, and they would ask me for my autograph because they actually thought that I was Brandy. So I was like, more like Monica, but like, okay. So
were you rocking the braids at the time? Did you have like the Brandy?
I've had braids once, and it wasn't at the time when people were saying that I look like Brandy, but
yeah. Was it the height of Moesha?
I did see it a little bit. Maybe. But I did see it a little bit when she was on Dancing with the Stars. I was like, okay, I saw it there a little bit. But when I was like 18, I was like, I don't look like Brandy, but I'll sign this autograph.
Yeah. Listen, we have so much to talk about today because Chantele, in episode 1 of our premiere recap episode, we talked about a thing. And I asked you if any of the players reminded you of someone. And I asked you, hey, who does this person look like? And the chat was abuzz because they really wanted to give away the answer. We won't jump right into that. But so far, Chantele, 3 episodes in, you still hooked? You still on?
Of course I'm still hooked. I wanted to watch the next episode as usual. I'm like, they're short, right? Like it's like a bite size of like entertainment. And I just want to see what happens. It's going to take like 2.5 hours of my life to watch this whole thing. Like, let's go. I want to watch it. But that's why we're going early. Cause I'm like, I needed to watch this episode. I need to talk about it. I need to get it all into my veins, into my knowledge, into the lexicon of my reality TV understanding.
Yes. And so if you are watching along live, let us know in the comments that you too are ready to talk about Hottie and her celebrity twin, as well as this most recent episode of Flavor of Love for the Flavor of Love Kickback. This has been so much fun. And this episode is iconic for a ton of reasons, clearly. Definitely some things that you and I need to discuss. But yeah. Coming into this week, I think the episode last week was Rubber Dove Flav. I think this one is like Flav's closest friends. Were you surprised to see that Flavor Flav has a really good relationship with some of his closest friends?
No, I was not surprised to see that. I mean, I feel like he likes having a good time. He likes hanging out with people. He's quite social. And so, of course, like having the ladies spend time with his closest friends made so much sense to me.
Yes. And so let's talk about the ladies and kind of what happens here with them. So we have New York. And she is selected as a part of the group that will go on to meet some of Flav's, like you said, some of his oldest friends. Oldest friends. And we have some speculation about like who that could be. People are saying maybe it's Chuck D. I think New York was very in on that. So Sweetie was saying, it's got to be maybe somebody very famous, maybe a famous rapper. I think it was Oyster who said like, if it's Public Enemy, I'm going to be all in on it. So everyone had their ideas. But they find out that they're going to be taken to an old folks' home in order to meet his oldest friends. And I don't know, if your question is, are these people here for love or are they here for fame? I think this is one of the episodes that make you question it a little bit because they were very excited to meet his rich and famous friends and not so excited to meet some of the elderly people that they did come across.
Well, I mean, you kind of prepare yourself if you're in the vicinity of a celebrity to like maybe have to meet their friends. Like, what am I going to act like? So, like, maybe they're just preparing themselves just to meet a celebrity potentially, and they don't want to come off a certain way. Maybe it's not just being fame hungry.
No, 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 no. But they dressed for the occasion as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they looked like they were going to the club,
Yep.
or at least very much to go meet some ballers or something like that. People actually literally, I think the word ballers came out of somebody's mouth. Like, oh yeah, maybe it'll be some, some of his favorite rich and famous friends. So I was not completely surprised because I've seen it, but it's very jarring to see that the group ends up going to talk to the old folks. There was some drama at the house before they left, though, and I'm tempted to go ahead and jump into that because it's about Hottie, but it's a very
Let's jump
Hottie centric episode. You
in.
want to talk about it?
Let's talk
Okay.
about it.
So Hottie starts the episode off saying, like, hey, this is a competition. And if I have to do anything to get the edge in the competition, go through somebody's stuff, steal some things, hide some things, whatever, that's what I'm going to do. And this is where it's starting to look like Hottie might be a little crazier than the rest of the competition. Now, prior to this, you and I talked and you were like, I don't know. She seems like maybe production's putting her up to it to be a little bit more, a little bit wilder than maybe she really is. Do you think this is Hottie? Is this Hottie the person that we're seeing on screen?
I think it's an inflated version of Hottie. I think that this is Hottie times 100 in her regular life. Like maybe she's just like a little crazy. Like she's not like a 100. Like she's not cutting up clothes crazy, but she might key a car crazy. You know what I mean? Like so. Maybe it's not the same about a crazy. I don't know, but I do think that even having this thought means that it's within her, and I think it's a part of her. I don't think that she's as wild as she appears in this show in her real life, but I do think it's in her.
Yeah, it's the way she says it with such a straight face. They're like, "Oh, you're joking," and she's like, "No, like if I gotta cut up some clothes, then that's what's gonna be. This is a competition, and she needs to get these people out of her home. Okay, she has claimed this mansion as hers. It's her mansion, her man, her money." Chantele, they come downstairs in the freakum dresses. They got, I think Hottie's wearing a jersey dress. Did you ever own a jersey dress?
Yeah, of course. Of course I did. I mean, I had friends that were video hoes or what video vixens. Sorry, that's what they call them
That's
now.
the old, yeah, that used to be a term of endearment.
No, okay, video vixens. Sorry.
Mhm.
And so, and like, I go dance. I dance in groups. So yeah, wearing a freakum short dress, like I was definitely bodycon mini dress, like heavy back in that day. I always showed legs. My nickname was Tina because I always showed my legs, like Tina Turner.
Yes.
So
Okay,
yes.
Tina. All right. Well, we get a few confessionals from some of the girls. They're very excited. Obviously, Peaches is excited. The girls are getting made up in the car. They get to the one generation old folks home, and he tells them like it's a senior citizen care facility, and I really want you guys to go and make friends with them so that I will know. If you're nice to them, then you could be nice to anybody, and I think that that's something that he's looking for. And so, Sweetie's up to the task. Peaches is up to the task. New York is not happy. She is not up to the task. She's not okay with this. What do you think about how New York handled the old folks?
I mean, it's typical, like of like how someone was feeling on the inside. It's very surprising that she's showing it on the outside in a competition. But I totally understand getting ready for something and wasting an outfit. Wasting an outfit is one of like it's like a crime. It's like wasting my makeup, wasting an outfit, wasting getting ready. Like all of that would really irritate me. And so I would probably hold it in this competition, but she just cannot. So yeah, I was just surprised that not surprised, but you know what I mean. Surprised that she wasn't able to hold it in, but not surprised because it's New York.
When it comes to the outfits, though, Chantele, these women dress like we said. They dressed for the club. They dressed in the jersey dress, the short dresses. They really thought they were about to go have to dress to impress. And there's one thing about wasting an outfit. But to be dressed like that in front of people's grandmas and great grandmas, I feel like that is where I'm like, whew, I really wish you would put on some pants.
I don't know. Miss New York's dress was very short. Like I was like short. Like I think she was wearing shorts underneath it, but I was like, it still looked like a long shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the dresses were definitely inappropriate for an old age home. I mean, obviously, this is what they wanted from it. It was like the whole, juxtaposition with like young and hotties and like old and, in an old age home. But this is a trope that's kind of continued on into a lot of these reality dating shows where they have them go to old age homes and, kids party, as we'll learn later. Like that's something that they do all the time on The Bachelor. So I guess they got their idea from this show.
Yeah, it is going to be something we see over and over again, and we will see the women handle it in different ways. A couple of the women are all in. We see Peaches helping with the foot rub. We see, I think Sweetie, was Sweetie the one who put the woman's dentures in her mouth? Yeah,
I don't know. Would I be doing that? I don't know if I'd be doing. I think I'd be taking Miss New York stance here, being like, maybe I'm gonna get a nurse to help you with that because that's a little bit kind of nasty. No, how would you feel?
Yeah. I mean, New York definitely shut it down. Ben from the Genius Game UK is in the chat. He says New York chain smoking outside, doing everything but the job at hand. That lady went outside, sat down, had a cigarette because it was too much. It was too much. I don't know. Like, would I have done it? Probably. I do love me some old folks. And it didn't look like, it wasn't like, it didn't look like it was dripping in like saliva or anything like that. Like I felt like this was a safe time to do it. It didn't look like the woman had just taken it out of her mouth and handed it to her, So I think there are levels. But when New York is outside, she's having the hardest time. And Flav is not okay with this. This is the first time we'll ever really see them at odds because he notices that the other girls are actually trying, and New York just cannot be bothered. I think coming in just a second, and she looks miserable.
But like she was also kind of laughing that she got caught. like just like, yeah, okay, fine, I'm going back in. Like I thought like her reaction was funny. And like I don't think Flav is really that like he knows that it's a little bit kind of gross putting in the dentures. And I think he just wanted her to still participate, but I don't think he was really gonna dock her. Like he was never gonna really like kick her out for not doing the dentures, right? No.
I mean, no, it doesn't look like it because she definitely dodged a bullet. Like this could have been bad for her. If she's all in on finding Flav's love, today won't be the day that she shines because Sweetie will win the challenge. Peaches was upset because she did rub that woman's feet twice. I agree with Peaches. Peaches at least deserved a consolation prize for being because there was some people line dancing and things like that, but somebody put their foot in my lap. I need something. Some money, something.
Which would you rather do, the dentures or the foot rub?
I do the dentures. I would definitely do the dentures first. I don't know. It's just like and then the 2 feet foot rubs, back to back as a feet rub, 2 feet rub. Like it was just too much. It was too much for me. So I don't know. It just felt like a fun challenge. It did separate Sweetie as one of the front runners here, and so we have to go home because the other half of the women have not gone on a challenge yet, and this is where we start the descent into elimination for one of the front runners as of last episode for our girl Sirius here, because we are finding out that Sirius is a model. We saw that in episode 1. She came and she brought Flav some suggestive photos, and now here we are in episode 3, and Sirius's photos are floating around the house. She brought like a Vibe magazine or something like that, Maxim or something that she's in. And she's like, oh yeah, everybody has pictures of themselves, right?
I mean, it's a little bit weird to bring a magazine that you're in onto a show. It's like, it would be different if they're at like a magazine stand and they're like, oh my God, I'm in this magazine.
Oh, that's
and, like,
me. Yeah. Just a little bit
like organic, but the fact that you're bringing it, being like, hey guys, look at all the things that I've done when nobody asked you, it's pretty embarrassing. And it shows that she's not necessarily there for the right reasons.
Well, Hoops is going to point that out to us a couple of times throughout this episode. She's clearly here for exposure because all she does is talk about her modeling. And so as we see, that will be a storyline that we have to follow in this episode. But we have to get to Sweetie and her date with Flavor Flav. He says they're going to go to one of the most romantic places that he knows, one of his favorite places to dine. They're going to have a one-on-one dinner at the Red Lobster.
Now, I have a soft spot for Red Lobster. I haven't been in
Beyonce said
probably 2 or 3 decades, but it's always somewhere like, ooh, we should go to Red Lobster and like have all you can eat seafood. And like, I just forget about it all the time. But like, it's something that me and my best friend are always like, we should go to Red Lobster because it's so good. And those buns, those biscuits, so good. And just get everything drenched in butter. And like, you're just going to get so much like seafood, which I love, for like $50. You're just like, let's go. So I was really liking his Red Lobster idea. I would have been very excited, especially in the early 2000s when like Red Lobster was like really it. Like, I remember as a kid, I used to have a Shirley Temple. This was the first time I had a Shirley Temple like non-alcoholic cocktail from Red Lobster.
Ooh.
Did you have one of those?
No, Shirley Temple? No, I've never had a non-alcoholic cocktail.
You know what's in a Shirley Temple?
No, is it like Sprite and like strawberry soda or something like that?
Yeah, like grenadine, and like in Canada we put
yeah.
orange juice in it, so it's like, and then it's garnished with a cherry and an orange, and you're just like, oh, it's cocktail cherry, you know?
Yeah, none of my cocktails have ever been virgin. I will say that. But yeah, they had the Cheddar Bay biscuits, and the way Flav is destroying these lobsters. It's like he's got the salt shaker in one hand, the lobster in his fist, and he's just like pouring lobster on, biting it while they're trying to have this date. I don't see how she was able to pay attention because he was going in.
I mean, we didn't know the romance was with the actual lobster, not with his date. I get it. I love seafood. I love lobster. What's your feelings about seafood and lobster?
I have a shellfish allergy.
No, you don't.
I literally have a shellfish allergy. When we went to New Orleans, you and I were in New Orleans, and we went to you and I did not go to this restaurant, but I was there, and it was a group of us, but I was sitting next to Jenny Autumn, and I remember this vividly because I felt it. But the waiter came over and was like, hey, dietary restrictions. I was like, hey, shellfish, I don't do that. And the waiter looked at me in the eye and said, oh, okay, well, you don't have anything to worry about as far as cross-contamination except the bread. We grilled the bread on the same grill that we grilled the shrimp on. I said, okay, gotcha. I was so hungry, Chantele, that I ate the bread.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I completely ignored that man's wishes. I am at fault. I did it myself. I do not care.
What's your reaction?
It wasn't great. Not great. So I lean over to Jenny. I'm like, Jenny, I gotta go. She's like, why? I was like, don't tell anybody. I don't want you to alarm anybody. Tyrone was there as well. I was like, don't alarm Tyrone. My best friend, he's going to freak out. He's going to slap me, first of all, because why did I do that? But I was like, I have to go to get allergy medicine. There was like a CVS up the street. So I like take off. Everybody's like, I like leave my card. Like, bring me my, just like pay for everything. I don't care. I got to go. And so I'm in the line, I'm chugging Benadryl and like throwing back. Like, I mean, like I probably had like 3 different allergy pills while just standing there in line. And I turn around and like 3 people are behind me. Like, so Jenny told us that you had an allergic reaction. I could feel my throat closing.
Oh wait, yeah. You were having an anaphylactic shock, like
what?
Reaction?
Yes. And I went to the hotel and went to sleep. Like after once the allergy medicine kicked in, like I was done. I think we ended up going back out at like 2 that morning. Because
I'm like, where was I
not watching me die. So there's that. So yeah, very serious allergy. Not to be played with, even if they tell you it's just the bread. Like, don't risk it. I mean, most people wouldn't have.
Don't risk it for the biscuit, literally. Oh my god.
Don't risk it for the biscuit, exactly. But listen, Red Lobster and those Cheddar Bay biscuits, it's worth the risk. I'm sorry, you got to, like those biscuits are really, really good. So listen, charge it to my head, not my heart, because I was really all in on having a good time that time. And I did, but I almost died. So that is a very serious allergy I have. Not a big Red Lobster guy anymore, but back in the day, Chantele, I used to tear it up.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I feel very sorry for you. Okay. I love seafood so much that like I feel really sad when somebody can't experience that.
As someone who did not have a shellfish allergy and now has one, I remember the good old days fondly, okay? But when you want to talk about a date that doesn't go quite well, what did you think about Flav and Sweetie's date here? Because Flav will ask her, so you think you could be like physical tonight? Like, we didn't have a good lobster dinner. What if we just kind of took this somewhere else? And she is not about that life.
Well, her name is Sweetie. And
I mean, he
Sweetie's
named her.
exactly. So that's the vibe. I mean, it might give me a little mini ick personally if someone was asking me that. Like I like things to be a little more natural and organic, and it just kind of flows. And so, like, if it's not like we're like, okay, should we go somewhere after? Like, just like that. And then you'd be like, yeah, let's go have a nightcap, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It just needs to be more natural. The fact that he just like is very clear about wanting to get more physical with her, like I might be like, maybe not yet. So, like, you know what I mean? Like it might just set the mood off in the wrong direction.
Well, he asked her when he could taste her mouth. Like, how long you think it would take for me to be able to taste your mouth? And we've seen him. He's kissed all over a lot of these women already. And they've been very open about it. Like, yeah, whatever. Sweetie says about 3 weeks. Now, there's no way this show lasts 3 weeks. So she like, maybe after this is all over, me and you could kiss. And Flav was not feeling this, Chantele.
Have you ever said that to a woman?
Can I taste your mouth?
Yeah, like a first date.
No, not a first date. What? I'm not a menace, and I'm also not a rich former rapper either. So I guess I can't get away with that kind of stuff. Chantele, what would your reaction have been?
If I was into him, I would. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be like, but like if I was into it, then be like, oh, like maybe I'll flirt back in that kind of way. But she wasn't into it. And that's where the issue is. I think she got the ick personally.
Yeah, and Flav is kind of like, all right, well, let's speed this up because we ain't got all day, and I got other people to date too. So I don't know. I feel like if you go into a dating show like this and you see episode 1, was it our girl Cherries is outside in her lingerie making out with him? Pumpkin has kissed all over him. We've seen a bunch of the women kissing all over him. This is a competition. What do you think about Sweetie's decision?
I mean, it's really hard to say. I can understand if you're like dating seriously that maybe waiting a little bit to get physical, where you get to know them a little bit better. So you're dating more intentionally. I can understand her taking that stance. But if you're trying to win the affections of this man, it might allow her to fall behind. So it depends on what she wants actually out of the situation. If she's looking for true love, it might be the wrong show.
Yeah. So back at the house, the other women have been bonding. Pumpkin apparently dances like a white girl, and so they try to teach her some moves. We see them all loosening up and having a good time, but then we see the conflict. New York is like, I have to confront Heidi. She says that she will stop at nothing to win this competition, and some of my clothes are coming up missing, and we flash back to that first scene where Heidi said, yeah, I cut up some clothes, I don't care. And so at this point, New York says she gonna pay for it or something. And she goes and confronts Heidi in the bathroom immediately. She's like, you said you would stop at nothing, you would cut up clothes, all this other stuff. Where are my clothes? You're gonna pay for them. And Heidi is like, I don't know what she's talking about. I mean, like, I would never do that to anybody. What do you mean?
Never?
I mean, she said that.
Like, she said, like, never.
She also said, you have nothing interesting in your bag for me to go through.
I mean, good line. What happened to Miss New York's jacket or whatever? Like, is she lying about it just to cause a scene?
I mean, I feel like the New York of today would probably do something like that. But I think this is New York in her purest form. I think she is serious. She thinks her stuff is missing. It's probably just misplaced. And she knows for a fact that it's Heidi, because Heidi has said that I wouldn't be past doing something like that. Now, Heidi is trying to talk to all the other women, but they heard her say it too. So they're kind of like, no, you said it. The words came right out of your mouth. And she's like, look, there's nothing you have. You're not that interesting. I wouldn't do that. I don't need to take your jacket. If I did take it, I would say, yes, I took your jacket, threw it in the street, and drove over it with my car. But she said that she's innocent. And so this is where we get the moment. Chantele, in episode 1, we talked about this. I said, Heidi, who does Heidi look like? What celebrity would you say that Heidi looks like? And you said
Beyonce.
A Knowles.
She
You
could be a
said
Knowles,
Beyonce. You said she could be
Knowles.
related to Beyonce. Yes. And so now, Chantele, I don't know how you've missed it, but this is like one of the most iconic gifs that I've seen in reality TV. Is the New York? It's our very own thumbnail. New York being like Beyonce, Beyonce when Hottie makes this claim. So the lead up is this. Hottie is telling New York like, no, I think she's like telling New York like you're crazy. This and other. New York is saying, well, look, the rest of these women, they all know who I am. They know that I don't F with them and that I'm like this to their face. But you're fake and you'll go behind everybody's back and try to play both sides and all this other stuff. She's like, I'm a bitch to my heart and they all know it. But I think she said, I'm a wolf in wolf's clothing, right? And so Hottie responds, well, I think all of y'all are jealous of me because all of my friends tell me that I remind them of Beyonce. Beyonce.
Everybody like was howling. They were laughing so hard, and I understand what her friends are seeing, but like it's really funny because like at that time Beyonce was like just on the high, like the beginning, like VMAs and like all like getting to become a really big celebrity, but in the early 2000s vibe. And so like she's not in the same caliber as Beyonce, but I can see some elements of resemblance.
So people have been on Twitter over the last couple years. I've been seeing like this recurring theme of people being like, I don't know, maybe we owe Hottie an apology because there was some through line between Beyonce and Hottie. Did you see that?
I did this. Okay. If you want to share what I got going on here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What we have, look, coming to the stage. Yeah, I saw this too. Okay. We're going to add this to the stage. What do y'all think? Chat, tell me what you think about what Chantele is presenting. We have Exhibit A. Now look. Now look. Now look. I'm just saying, maybe Hottie was making some points. Look. Well, I mean,
family, like
family resemblance. Yes,
half
he looks like
sisters.
This is crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, and look, the chat is kind of like, well, I mean, maybe not example number 2, but example number 1. Go back to that one.
Yeah, I did. It doesn't show.
You know, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think example number 1 makes like they could be distant cousins. You know, like distant, like far.
Yeah. half distant cousins. So like share one like family line, you know?
Yeah. Goldie says mental institution. And New York responds, Beyonce, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that this ugly ass bitch like this would ever say that. Oh my God, Beyonce, you look like a man. You look more like Luther Vandross. That's the quote.
I see Luther Vandross more though, which
get out of here.
It's crazy.
Do we need to get the side by side of Luther Vandross?
I did it. It's there. Go.
No, Chantele, no. This is inappropriate. Okay, now look. If Beyonce and Luther Vandross had a child or a cousin, Tyler in the chat said, I mean, I do see it in the eyes. Everybody said it's the eyes.
It's the eyes. It is the eyes. It is the eyes. I see it. I see it. I see it.
Oh my God. That's a match. Brittany, Cats in the chat. Why is Luther in it? You know. So yeah, iconic. Chantele, the fact that you've gone your whole life not knowing this conversation happened is incredible, but I'm happy you're here now.
I'm happy that I'm here now. I'm shocked that I wasn't there when it actually was happening because like I like being involved in like the conversation in the moment. But it's like it was just really far removed from like, and nobody was talking about it in Canada, you know what I mean? And we didn't have streaming services like we have right now where we can like, you know, catch up on stuff like that so easily. So if it wasn't on like Entertainment Tonight, like I probably wasn't going to know about it. So
yeah. New York tells her, I advise you to pack your bags because bitch, you're going home. And so it has gotten very contentious around the house. I think Goldie says Hottie is 2 chocolate chips away from a cookie or something.
I didn't say that.
Which is such a good line. But Hottie is not here for those girls. She's here for Flav, and they're all upset with her because they can tell that her eye is on the prize. And so the next group of women have to go on a date. And this won't be some of Flav's oldest friends. These pals will be some kiddos. They're going to kick it with the kids, but not before New York goes and throws a whole ass fit. This woman is distraught because she cannot believe that the other 5 or other 6 women are actually going to have a date with him, and she won't be there. We talked about this, Chantele, on the love meter. Where do you think New York is falling on her feelings toward Flavor Flav? I think last week we were at a 4.
It's definitely going up. What it seems, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's her putting on the theatrics because she wants to win, but then it's also making her love him more. Because we see in these competitive shows, everybody starts falling in love with the lead, even if like I love Flavor Flav, but like even if the lead is like, you know, okay, like they fall in love with the competition aspect and they start liking the lead a little bit more. And so I do think that the winning, the competition, and the love is starting to kind of all converge, and I do think she's rising up in that scale. So I'd say she bumped up to a 6.
She's outside smoking a cigarette again. She's crying. Red Oyster is the one, of all people, Red Oyster is the one who comes over and consoles her. And we know Red Oyster is like, I don't care about the rest of you women. I'll throw anybody under the bus. She says, oh, I think she's like in love with him. I mean, New York said over and over again, like, I'm in love. I am in love. This is my man, blah, blah, blah. So she's going to struggle with this episode. And Flav catches her right before, I guess she catches him right before he goes on his date with the other women. And she just cries in his arms. She's sobbing. Flav, I just don't want you to go. And she just doesn't want anybody else to have any time. And so he like calms her down. And then he's like, turn around, let me see your ass, you know, that kind of thing. And she kind of like, oh my God, babe, I love it here. Yeah. New York is
don't
playing.
you miss seeing smoking on TV? Like, I just remember smoking used to be a thing. And like, I actually really enjoyed the nostalgia of like it not being so taboo to be smoking a cigarette on TV. I thought it was, I liked the callback.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when we used to watch Big Brother and they would just be outside on the porch like it was like jail. And
exactly.
And I think the cigarette smoke, like it is a part of New York's character. You know, it just is. She's like the Black Emma Roberts. You know, it's like wherever she is, I just think that she's gonna be smoking a cigarette somewhere. And so
does she still smoke now?
New York, I don't know. I don't think she does it on TV anymore. I'll say that.
They don't show smoking on TV anymore because we hear that we had a smoking room or we had a smoking group and we had to like, you know, go out in 2s only and it was monitored. I don't know, but some shows were talking about that. And I'm like, I want to see these people smoking. The best conversations are usually happening with the smokers, you know?
Yeah. Look, that's where you find. Look, sometimes the smokers, and not to say that I'm a smoker. I don't smoke cigarettes. So, you know, that's not really my style. But I do be with the smokers, and they do have good conversations. It's good bonding time. So
absolutely,
yeah. I have an issue with that now that you bring it up. What did you think about New York throwing this fit right before Flav went on his date? If you're one of the other 6 women who are waiting on their date, how do you feel?
I'd be rolling my eyes and go, she's gonna throw a tantrum, like she's gonna crash out to get some more time with. Like we know that this is her MO, right? When she was roller skating with him, like, oh, I'm just gonna keep falling so he can have to save me. And it's a really good tactic. If somebody if you know that he likes you at least a little bit, and then you get him to console you or to comfort you, he's going to become more endeared to you. He's going to care about you a little bit more. And you're going to have that bond because men naturally love taking care of a woman. And so it would help their bond for sure. And so I'd be rolling my eyes being like, ugh, she got one up on me. She's doing better than I am.
Yes. Who was it? Smiley. Smiley didn't like this at all. So they end up getting in the car with Flav, and Flav tells them, I have 6 kids and I would like 4 more. So whoever I'm dating has to be okay with that. And you have to be good with kids. Now, this man just told them he wants 10 kids and at least 2 baby mamas. To me, if you're in this for love, you got to be in this for love, okay? Because 10 kids is crazy, especially when you got at least 1 other baby mama and 6 prior kids to deal with.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's kind of like the whole oh my god, his name just disappeared from my mind. You know who I'm talking about? 12 kids, different mamas.
You talking about Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon. I mean, like, I would have some questions. I don't think I'd be baby mama number for the 13th child. You know what I mean? And so I just would be like, there must be so much going on. Like, spending all his money on all these kids, right? Like, if he's not living with all of them. So like, is he gonna have enough money for me? If I'm going in gold digger vibes, you know? So I don't know. That might just be a little bit of a red flag. Just that, like, he has so much of his energy and time is going to be towards other baby mamas and then other families dynamics. So it might be
I feel like if this was New York and Hottie's challenge, they both get out the car and just start running. You know, like, I just don't see any world where they're okay with Flav being like, I need 10 kids total, you know? So I think this is the right set of women because none of them freak out about it. They just kind of like Goldie's just nodding along. Okay. I think I can deal with that. And so they get this challenge where they have to take care of the kids for a while. These kids are bad as hell. They're throwing eggs everywhere. They're spraying the women with the water guns. And all the women are, for the most part, trying their best. We even see Pumpkin, who will tell us in this episode, no fewer than 6 times that she's good with kids because she's a cheerleading coach and a substitute teacher. And she will go on to lose this challenge and not take it well.
What age, did she ever say what ages she taught as substitute teacher? Or is it like all ages? Is it middle school, high school? Like, do we know anything?
I don't know, but I think she'll eventually say it in the season. I will say this, not to spoil the outcome of this show, but I'm sure she will not be a 2nd grade teacher. I think maybe 2nd grade. I'm sure she will not be a 2nd grade substitute teacher or a cheerleading coach for children after all of this. I would just say that.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I feel as though she doesn't really have, from what I see on the TV, a maternal, like, warm kind of personality. She just kind of seems a little bit hard, a little bit of a wall up. So I can understand her thinking that she's good with kids because she's like doing the motions, but I don't think that she actually connects with kids. And so her crashing out, I think, is just like, she thinks that she's doing better than she is. Like, she thinks she's a better, kinder, more maternal person than she actually comes across. And maybe the kids don't actually like her.
You're like, maybe she's off on her job as well. It's tough. It's tough because we do see, like, Sirius is running around behind the kids. We see a couple of them. They're really into Smiley and her outfit. You see the one kid making eye contact with not Smiley's eyes.
He's just like side-eyeing. Like, he was the first bombastic side-eye to her boobs.
right to her, right to the breast. Okay. Yeah. So they're going through a lot. But obviously, like I said, there are some standouts. Goldie does well. Someone throws up on Goldie.
That would be, well, I don't think that couldn't have been real, right? That was like a fake thing because, like, the type of vomit that it looked like, it seemed like it had to be fake, right? Like, it was.
I mean, do you think they armed the kids with fake vomit?
Maybe.
Chantele, how?
I don't know, but like, vomit is like that thick. That, like, why was it so thick? It was like kind of like a lavender color. Like, what was that? Ice cream?
I think it was cake and ice cream. Yeah, I think he had been eating so much of the birthday desserts and ran around, jumped in the bounce house, and then it had to come up. Chantele, your face.
I just have a problem with vomit a little bit. I can handle a lot, but vomit is like kind of where I draw the level, like the line. When I was about 2 years old, I got really sick from eating strawberry flavored like yogurt, and I threw up for like 2 days straight. I felt so sick that I never will have yogurt. I just don't eat yogurt. Like, yogurt's just not part of my thing. And I remember when I was in high school, I tried, like, what was it, a Giro, whatever, and it had like tzatziki or something that had tzatziki. Mm-hmm. And I remember tasting.
Oh, shoot. Did we lose me? Listen, y'all. The joys of live TV.
Am I back? Am I back? Am I back?
You're back.
Okay, good. Sorry, I knew I was freezing, but I was like, I don't know where I froze. So I'm like, okay, yogurt and me do not go. So I kept on avoiding it. That I had an audition. And in the audition, they never make you eat the food. And I just had filmed a commercial for this same production company that were all in the room. They're like, hey, Chantele, okay, let's have you try this strawberry yogurt for this commercial. And I was like, oh my God. Oh God. So I took like the tiniest little bit and I was like, And like, it went in. And it didn't taste as bad as I remember, but it's still not great because I can still remember like the vomit taste of it. But then like my heart starts like racing on the inside. And then like I feel like I wanted to like crawl out of my skin and I could projectile vomit like on demand. And this is just like having like a little bit. And so whatever was on her arm reminded me of all my yogurt vomit moments that I'm just like, no. I'm not into it. So no yogurt for me unless you want me to projectile vomit onto Goldie's arm.
Yeah, she threw up. She threw up episode 1, so she had some sympathy for the kid. She was like, "I've been there," and that's fair.
I can deal more with booze barf than I can deal with real food barf. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something. It's more thick. It's more. Oh man, I have another barf story if you want another barf story.
No, I'm good on the barf stories. Flav had some feedback for the women. Smiley, you're great with kids. I could tell you're the motherly type. We see Goldie, you did a good job, but Pumpkin, you're a little distant. And our winner here is going to be Sirius. And so he's going to take Sirius someplace romantic and comfortable as well. And so we go back to the house and we get the conversations about Sweetie and her moral dilemma with being physical with Flav. She's kind of just like talking to some of the other women, including Hottie, and being like, it's just something about, him taking the opportunity to be like, hey, let's get physical this night one. Like, she's not ready for it, but she says, would y'all be ready for it? And Hottie and Red Oyster, absolutely. Yeah, like right now. If he told me right now, I'm on the way. Like, I think Red Oyster said, I'm doing whatever that's allowed, and so she said, yeah, if I can, I'm staying the night. What do you mean? So Sweetie's she's kind of in a tight spot because the other women are willing to do things for the crown that she might not be willing to do. Do you think that Sweetie should be questioning, maybe her position in the game at this point?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's going to have to be questioning it because it unfortunately, unless everybody was having the same kind of stance as she was, she's going to fall behind. I'm watching the season of Love Island, and there was a girl that was on it that was like, she didn't want to make out with everybody, and everybody would just give her a kiss on the cheek when everybody's tonguing down everyone, bombshells coming in, making out. Like, there's so much kissing and making out, and she's like, giving the cheek. And I get it. Like, you have your boundaries, like, you have the certain limits that you're going to go to in one of these kind of dating shows, but kind of understand if you aren't moving physically in that direction that you might be left behind. Not saying that you have to, but if other people are and they're advancing their relationship in a different way, you just can't compete. So maybe he's just not meant for you, or this platform to find love might not be her cup of tea.
Yeah, maybe we see New York has a new target this time. Someone who's been quiet this season relatively. It's Hoops. She's laying on the Chase Lounge reading a book, and she's like, "Hoops, are you okay?" And Hoops is like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "You sure? Because you're acting a little, like you're not okay." And Hoops is like, "I'm fine." She said, "Okay, well, there's no point in you getting loud about it." It's like, "I said I was fine." It's like, "Well, you don't have to talk to me like that, Hoops. I'm just asking if you're okay." So I told you 50 times that I'm okay. I'm gonna throw this ball at your head. New York just finds her way to just lodge herself under everybody's skin.
But it's funny though that she did the exact same thing that what was the girl's name in the car did to her. You know what I mean? Like just being like, "I'm fine. Like I don't want to talk about it." Like she didn't want to talk about it, but then she's doing the exact same thing to Hoops here. And Hoops didn't want to talk about whatever it was, and she was not allowing her to just be like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah. But that's because when the women in the car were asking New York the questions, they really were trying to get New York involved because she had been being awful. New York here says, "I will claw my way and fight to the death for this man's heart because he's just amazing." And she's claiming him. She's stating her claim that that's her man. This is psychological warfare that New York is doing with Hoops. It's not the same,
But what is the same is when New York says, "I don't want to do something," she expected people to respect that. And so it's kind of, Hoops is saying like, "I'm fine, leave me alone." And New York's like, "Well, you don't have to get loud about it." She is definitely diabolical, and Hoops is definitely not having it, but it's very entertaining.
Yes. So we see Sirius go on her date with Flav, and let's just cut through the chase. Flav says, "I'm 46 and you're 23. So could you ever see yourself being physically attracted to me?" And she's like, "I could see that happening one day."
23 is too young. I mean, that's another problem that I kind of, even with these love shows, like there's like some young girls that are coming on being like super sexual with like these guys are like 6-7 years older than them. I'm like, and you're 20s, that's a big deal, I find. Yeah, so I mean, I can understand being a little hesitant to not want to be physical with someone that's your father's age. I could see it.
Yeah, she says, "I'm already a little bit physically attracted to you." Now, you got people like New York who are like, "I'm in love with you. I am in love with you." You got people like Hottie who's like, "These bitches are in my house. This is my man and my money." And then you got Sirius being like, "Yeah, I kind of find you attractive a little bit."
There's levels. Clearly, she's not that into him.
It just doesn't sound like it. And she finally has the conversation about her modeling portfolio. She's like, "Yeah, everybody brought pictures of themselves and stuff like that. So, I just brought my portfolio. Everybody brought something about them. I'm a model. This is my thing. So it would be crazy for me not to show you." And so Flav's kind of like, "Okay, well, like we'll get to that one day." And he moves in almost like to kiss her, but she doesn't really reciprocate, right? Like he is like, "I'm gonna try something." And she kind of like, "Okay, go for it." But she doesn't actually come after any like physical interaction with him. So I think he's getting the vibe that she doesn't like him.
It was a weird moment. I was like trying to figure, I'm like, is he drunk and she's not as drunk as he is? Like there was just something off in the dynamic of that moment. It probably was that he was testing the waters and she was only half reciprocating. And so like he just didn't know what was happening, and neither did I.
So watching from a distance is Red Oyster because she's always watching. Do you see why I like Red Oyster as a character? Like she's so consistent. She's so consistent. Someone has any ulterior motive, she's like a spy, okay? She's looking from yards away. She's like on the balcony and they're way out by the pool. And she's watching their entire date.
Yeah, she's definitely is using information to further her in the game and maybe get people to get kicked out. So she's playing her role. Yeah. And I am definitely liking her more.
Yeah. She's just, it's like you you have to look at her as somebody who's like that is her whole identifier, that she finna be messy. That's it. That's what she's here to do. And we also get a tender moment between Pumpkin and Flav, because she kind of pulls a New York. Like, Flav, I really didn't like how the date went, and I felt like you didn't understand that, like, I'm good with kids. I'm a cheerleading coach. I'm a substitute teacher, blah, blah, blah. And then she follows him around the corner and she says, I always try to kiss him whenever I'm alone with him. And they do. And then she falls on the bed, like, all smitten. Do you believe that Pumpkin is here for Flav?
I think she's here to win, but I don't know if she's here for Flav. You
didn't think that reaction was genuine? Her coming and like collapsing on the bed like a high school girlie and with a crush.
How, like, there's people standing there with cameras. I just don't know. Like, if it was I was seeing like a hidden camera and I saw this reaction, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can believe that. But I just feel like you have a man standing there with a camera in your face after you have this kiss moment with him, and then you fall to the ground swooning with the camera following you. I just feel like it's a little bit put on for the cameras.
Chantele, you're having a real hard time believing any of these women are actually interested in Flavor Flav.
I would say at this point, yes. I think that they will, more people will be falling for him, but I think the beginning is like about the antics, about the competition. But I do think people will eventually fall in love with him, or like in lust with him, or in like with him. But I don't know if I believe that, what's her name? Pumpkin is actually here for the right reasons. Like, I don't think that she's in love with him right now.
Okay. So one last thing, we have the clock ceremony. Flav has to go over to his clock wall and decide which women to keep and stay, but not before talking to Red Oyster, who says, hey, just FYI, Sirius is not here for you. She doesn't mince words at all. She says, Sirius is here to be a model. She brought her catalog and her portfolio. She wants you to see it. She wants to be a model. She is here for fame and clout and all the things. She is not here for you, Flav. And so, did you think Red Oyster's plan here was going to work again, this time for Sirius?
I didn't. Okay. If he had a better moment with Sirius, like if that kiss like was a little more organic and it was more natural, and like they were able to kind of reach that level of intimacy, that I would be like, okay, Red Oyster might be out because he doesn't like snitches, and so this would be the second time that she's ratted somebody out. So maybe it's time for her to go because it's somebody that he likes. But I think that he doesn't really like Sirius that much, that this intel from Red Oyster just allowed him to be able to say bye.
So when it was time for the clock ceremony, Red Oyster gets the first clock. She's the front runner currently. If we're looking at the clocks as any type of ranking, she's number one. Then we get Sweetie as number two. Now, Sweetie also was not really into getting physical. How you feel? Do you think Flav is liking the idea that, okay, she was able to stick to her guns, but I'm still feeling her? Do you think that Sweetie was going to make it through this round?
I wasn't sure, but I do think that they had decent chat at their date, and he called her Sweetie for a reason. And sometimes men like a bit of a chase. So I think that, I think that he wants to see if there's things can progress with Sweetie, is what I think.
Gotcha. Remember, in episode 1, I was like, just pay close attention to who Flav gets physical with, and then how quickly he gets rid of them. R.I.P. to Cherry. So after Sweetie, right, Pumpkin gets the third clock, and she was completely shocked. She thought, okay, this is tough. I had a bad day. And New York says, I hate Pumpkin, and she really needs to get a facelift.
Does she look older in real life? Like, she doesn't look that old. Like, what is she, like 19 or something, and she looks 24? Like, do we know how old she is?
I don't think I have. Let me see. Pumpkin age, flavor of love. Let's see. I want to say she was 24 at the time. Let's see. Yeah, because she's 40. I don't think we do math here. Just tell me the age. She was born in 80. She was born in 80. Yeah.
And what was this show?
2006.
So
So
26.
she was 26. Yeah. And so yeah, I think New York has just found a victim. Honestly, I think she's found the way to bully Pumpkin. She's gonna keep calling her old and saying that she needs a facelift.
Well, do you know what though? New York is a little bit younger. I think she's born in 81 or 82. And
Mm-hmm.
so New York would be younger than Pumpkin. And so like Pumpkin's 26. I'm not even 25 yet. Is probably New York.
Right, right. Oh God,
So
you
it's
know how
probably
that
just
is.
the age thing.
Yeah, yeah. New York was born in 82. So she's like, yeah, let's get this old lady out of here.
Yeah, she's over 25. She's so old. She's closer to 30.
Yeah, we get a clock for Smiley as well. And then we're down to our final couple. Of course, Goldie gets one because he says that he can tell that like they would vibe together, but they just need a little bit more time. And so he's still sticking around for Goldie. But I think our final three here were no, I'm sorry. How did I skip Hottie? Hottie got her clock as well. Hottie, who is the villain here. You know, it's funny. New York has a villain. New York is so used to being the villain now in our current time that it's so hard to see somebody kind of out villaining her. But everybody hates Holly. Everybody hates her.
I mean, it's just kind of annoying. So I mean, I totally get it. And it is interesting that New York isn't always the villain, and you know, but she definitely is always allows this, like most of the storyline to be around her, which I think is a quite amazing task. Like she's really good at bringing everybody the focus back onto her. It's quite exceptional. I would love to. Maybe New York needs to do a how to be an exceptional character on TV like seminar. You know, like how Adam Klein is doing like how to get on reality TV. I think she needs to do one to how to be a reality TV villain effectively.
Yeah.
And get you cast
how to be
again,
the HBIC.
and again and again and again.
She says, Hottie is here for the wrong reason. She wants his money. She never cared about Flav. She's a gold digger. She's a slut. She's a whore. And she's totally fake.
Is she lying? I don't know if she's lying or not, but
I mean, that's just it's so targeted. You know, it's just so specific. She's a slut, she's a whore, and a gold digger. Ma'am, you don't know this lady. So New York, of course, gets her clock. Hottie says she doesn't trust her either. And so now it's down to one clock, 3 women left. We have Hoops and Sirius, and for some reason, Peaches. I don't know what Peaches did to last this long in this competition, but we've gone through this whole episode almost not mentioning Peaches once.
Yeah, we could have mentioned that she likes giving massages, right? Because she's
she's kind of she's a hippie, yeah.
But she was also the one that was serenading him in the hot tub last episode, right?
Yeah, and she gave it a good effort with the women in their feet. But Flav and Peaches just never really get any time together. And then Sirius, of course, is here for the wrong reasons per Red Oyster. So Hoops gets the last clock. And she says, from now on, I'm going to be stepping my game up because I don't like being in the bottom.
I want to see Hoops step her game up. That's fun. Like, let's see her compete. She's going to have to go toe to toe with New York soon, I feel. So, okay, let's go.
Yeah. So we lose Sirius. We lose Peaches. And Flav's like, bring it in, give me a hug. I move my clock for this. I'm sorry. Yeah. And so, yeah, Sirius goes out crying. Her real name is Crystal. And she's talking about how she's misunderstood and how she didn't really get to talk to Flav about some of his feelings about her being a model. And it does feel like, and maybe it's the age difference or whatever, but it does feel like Sirius did like him at least like a crush. I don't think this reaction is inauthentic, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Well, I think that she was sad that she's being kicked off the show. I think she would have to know that the date didn't go that well. Like she had, but she's also really young, right? Maybe she thought it went better than it actually did. And so maybe that's why she's a little bit upset, because thinking that you won the challenge, you had a one-on-one date, you had a little bit of intimacy, like you have to move on to the next round. And so maybe she's also surprised that she had all this time with him. Not enough, according to her, but she had this time with him, and then he still sent her home, which I might be upset.
Yeah. She says, I'm going to like him now. I like him now. I liked him then. I'm going to like him all the way back to Atlanta. So we lose Sirius and we lose Peaches, a.k.a. Kim, who says, Flav just has a good heart. You can tell he's speaking from a higher power. He says so many inspirational things. So, yeah, that's it. That's our most recently 2 eliminated contestants here on Flavor of Love. 3 episodes in. We're loving it. We're having a good time. Do you have a winner pick at this point? 3 episodes in? I think you picked. I think you picked Goldie when I held you to the fire. Like held the question to you.
Gold. I don't think that's to win. I don't think Goldie's gonna win.
No, I forgot who you picked in episode 1.
I have to go back and listen. Far.
Yeah, you said Pumpkin gets far.
Who? I don't remember who I said. Maybe the chat remembers.
Yeah, listen, it's fine. If not, we'll go back and review the tapes and get that on record. But right now, it feels like it's anybody's game.
And I really don't know who's a front runner. I mean, obviously, New York is a front runner, but I feel like I would know if she won the show. And so, like, I didn't ever hear that. So, I don't know. Okay. I feel like New York also gets very far. Maybe none of them wins. Like, I don't know what, because he doesn't come back for season 2. So maybe nobody wins. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. Well, there's only one way to find out. Chantele, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for joining the chat and talking to us live here. We love the interaction. This was a great conversation about one of the more iconic moments in reality TV, and I'm so happy I got to be here for Chantele when she experienced it. I will be sending you that GIF every day, Beyonce, just so you have it on hand. Chantele, tell everybody what you're working on until we come back for the next Flavor of Love Kickback Live.
I am working my way through doing solo recaps of Love Island USA. So I'm catching up. I've recorded all my reactions. I've been watching the videos or watching the episodes live and recording it and then editing my reactions. And so it takes a little bit more time than going live. And so I'm just a bit behind. But the most recent episode I did just drop before we went live here today. And then I'm going to be catching up on Love Island UK probably by this weekend. So yeah, Love Island US and UK on Reality Realness with 3 S's, my YouTube channel. So find me there and let's talk about these crazy couples that are, oh my God, crashing out.
And tune in to the content we have here on Recap Kickback. Mari and I are joined this week by Being Camille AF to talk about Black Music Month. That's right. It's June, aka Black Music Month. And so every day people are highlighting their favorite Black songs or Black artists or whatever, per whatever criteria they're looking for. But as long as it's Black, it should count. And so the 3 of us will be going through our daily Black Music Month questionnaire and determining which songs that we feel like we should slide into those positions. And you can check that out this Thursday when we drop that podcast here on Recap Kickback. But that's all. So for Chantele and for myself and for New York and for Pumpkin and for Luther Vandross and for Hottie and for Beyonce, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. We'll take you next time. Peace.
I've been trapped behind Tall Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.